en Argentina. Es muy importante la agilidad. Hemos tenido niveles de inflación de hasta un 25% mensual. Tuvimos que pasar las pólizas a semestrales o trimestrales. Para eso necesitamos tener herramientas como Guidewire Cloud para realizar rápidamente los cambios.
La plateforme cloud de Guidewire nous donne beaucoup plus de flexibilité que nous en avions avant parce que ça nous donne accès à beaucoup de nouvelles fonctionnalités qu'on peut rendre disponibles aux gens d'affaires et à nos clients rapidement, qu'on livre au moins une fois par semaine aujourd'hui, ce qu'on ne faisait pas avant qui était plus aux 3 et 6 mois.
What we're seeing is a 25% reduction in cycle time and the NPS starting to move up. It's a 5-point jump in the customer experience. It became very clear Guidewire Insurance Now for us was the only solution.
.で本当にクイックに商品の改善を行ったりですね、料率の変更を行ったり、いろんなことが可能になっているというふうに思っております。5% 近い継続率の改善が実現できております。我々の保険料収入ですね、対前年でいうと、最近では 7% ぐらいの伸びを示しております。ガイドワイヤーを使った、アジリティというのは非常に我々大切にしております。
Please welcome Guidewire's Chief Executive Officer, Mike Rosenbaum.
Can I just say what an honor it is to have the opportunity to stand up and say on behalf of everybody at Guidewire, welcome to Nashville and welcome to Connections. It's going to be an incredible week. I like to start every presentation I do by saying thank you. Thank you not just for coming to this event from all over the world, but thank you for trusting us with this incredible thing that we do on behalf of your companies and on behalf of this industry. We take this incredibly seriously. Every single person at Guidewire does. And we deeply appreciate the opportunity to serve you, to serve this industry, to serve all of your companies, and to genuinely put our contribution into this industry. And so we thought it'd be fun to ask everybody at Guidewire just to say thank you and to say welcome. And so we asked them all to record a little video that we will play for you. So we had a little trouble piping in the audio, right? We couldn't get the audio to simultaneously play all together, but I think you get the point. Everybody out there watching, everybody at Guidewire all over the world genuinely thanks you for the opportunity to serve your industry. So our mission at Guidewire, it has not changed. Same mission as it was last year, same mission as it was the year before, stretches all the way back probably to the company being founded over 20 years ago. Our mission is to power an industry, to create agility, to create a platform that the P&C industry can trust, that the P&C industry can use to engage with customers more effectively, innovate with new products, and grow your organizations in this industry and create more and more efficiency year over year over year. We take this incredibly seriously and we think it's a big deal. We don't talk often about our ambition, which kind of is the why behind that mission. But our ambition is to advance an industry that mitigates risk and in the process creates a safer, more resilient society and a safer and more resilient world. It kind of genuinely matters. I have an opportunity to talk to so many people in my job, people who kind of describe in one way or another their careers. And the consistent story in the P&C industry kind of goes like this. I never intended to make insurance my career, but I landed here. I didn't know I was going to get a laugh at that line. Okay. It was supposed to be serious and, you know, like meaningful, and now you're laughing at me. Okay, I'm going to go back to serious. But seriously, every single person says, I never intended it, but here I am. 5 years later, 10 years later, 15 years later, I saw a picture of somebody celebrating their 40th year anniversary in this industry and at their company. It was incredible. And I just would say, like, I don't think that that occurs in an industry that doesn't genuinely mean something. And now my team is going to have to help me because I'm reading somebody's email. Diego can come up and just for my help. Oh, there you go, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The most important slide with all the gravity, and you guys are laughing at me, and they messed up my speaker notes. It's kind of funny. Okay. So Guidewire, 20 years ago, set out to do something special, okay? Set out to bring modern software to the P&C insurance industry. And in the process, we made it possible for you to update that software, which at the time was pretty incredible. And now with cloud, we can do it almost continuously, and we'll talk more about that. We added an ecosystem to the mix. We added data platforms and analytics. We had the ability to integrate to marketplace applications. And now, with generative AI and predictive intelligence, we're going to make these applications smarter. It's all incredible, okay? But at the heart of a lot of conversations I have with people, technology executives in this industry, is this fundamental question. Why should we modernize, and specifically, why should we modernize now, okay? And I think it's a very difficult question to answer, because the fact is, we do not create new insurance companies every day. We do not create new insurance product lines every day. This is an incredibly durable and resilient industry. The companies that you represent are resilient and durable and last. You know, raise your hand if you work at a company that's existed for more than 20 years. I'm lucky enough to raise my hand. Every single person in the audience, right? Keep it raised if your company's existed for 50 years. Keep it raised if it's 100 years. It's pretty cool. Now watch. Keep it raised, and I know you're out there, if your company has existed for 200 years. They are somewhere. They are in this room. There you go. Thank you very much. Look, it worked. Pretty cool. So in an industry like this, you know, you don't necessarily have to modernize IT every year, okay? And this is the test for us this week. This is the way we think about what we're doing, is how can we create an argument and a value proposition that allows you to make the logical decision to modernize. And not just to modernize in one step, but to change the approach that you take to technology so that you're constantly current. You're always up to date. You're kind of always on that cutting edge. To change the way that you think about running core systems in your general operation that supports your company in this industry, this is the question. And if I were in your shoes thinking about this, this is how I would think about it. On the one hand, I would think about trust. Do I trust this company? Do I trust this ecosystem? Do I trust this technology? Is it going to work? What's their track record? You know, is it worth betting my job, betting my career, and then kind of arguably betting the company on this step? Okay, where are we right now, and do I trust it? And then once you've answered that question, you might shift over and talk about vision. Where's this company going? Where's this ecosystem going? Where is this community going to take this technology into the future? Because once I attach myself to it, maybe I'm kind of stuck with it, so I want to make sure I understand the vision. And so this is how we've organized ourselves. This is how we've organized this presentation today. We're going to talk about trust and what's available today and what's going on right now. And then, and this is a little bit different than how we've been operating for the past few years, we're going to open the aperture a little bit, and we're going to talk about where we see this going, and we're going to show you kind of what we think is possible with the technology going forward. You're going to hear from Diego Devalle. He's going to talk about the platform and the products. You're going to hear from Christina Colby. She's going to talk about the ecosystem. Then you're going to get me back on stage. We're going to talk about vision. You're going to hear from Michael Howe. You're going to hear from Amy. We're going to show you some pretty cool stuff. Okay, so let me start to talk about trust. What we are doing together, and what I mean by this when I say we is not just Guidewire, but every single person in this room. What we are doing in transforming this industry to a cloud-based platform and cloud-based services is incredible. Okay, I was lucky enough to join this company 5 years ago, and I think a lot of people were like, do you really know what you're getting into? The answer was, absolutely, I don't, okay? But this is working incredibly well. I remember a moment 5 years ago, I got an opportunity to meet a CIO, and we talked about cloud, and I laid out the vision, and I told him how great it was going to be, and everything was going to be amazing. And he said, look, I get it. I get where you're going. I get the value proposition. I understand. I want to do it. I want to do it with you guys. But I don't want to be first. And I actually don't want to be second or third or fourth. And I said, well, okay, but where do you want to go? Well, like, when do you want to do it? He thought for a second, and he says, I want to go in the 51st percentile. And I was like, that is such a great insurance-like answer to my question, okay? But look, over here, guys, I want to show you something. I want to welcome everybody to the 51st percentile, okay? Here we are. This is going incredibly well, and it's driven by the transformation of InsuranceSuite, okay? This is a cumulative chart, which generally I don't like cumulative charts. They kind of cheat. But in this case, it's appropriate, okay? This is a cumulative chart of every single go-live we've had on InsuranceSuite Cloud. And so you see like 82 customers as of the end of our fiscal year. This is incredible, okay? And the secret is the technology, and the secret is the products and applications are amazing, and we're going to tell you all about them. This is not the secret, okay? The secret is this unflinching commitment to your success. We will not allow a single program to fail, okay? And I would like to thank everybody in this room, everyone in the broader ecosystem. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of our partners yesterday, and I talked about this. There is a commitment to success that exists in this community that we cannot lose, okay? And this is why this is working. It's because the bet that you make on us is working every single time. Now, these programs aren't perfect and aren't easy, and the programs go red. We all know that, and then we fix them. But there is a commitment to every single one of these things going and working and going live and meeting the expectations that you have when you trust us, and we cannot lose that, and we will not lose that. Okay, now my favorite chart. Okay, this is my favorite chart I like to look at Guidewire. Okay, it's a little bit complicated, so I'll spend a second and explain it to you. So what this shows is, at every release, where are we in terms of which release our cloud customers are on? Okay, N-2 or not N-2. N-2 means if you're on the current release, you're N. If you're one behind, you're N-1. If you're one behind that, you're N-2. That means you're good. If you're not there, you're bad. Bad is blue in this. But look, you know, we kind of got a rough start. It was a little confusing, and then we figured it out, okay? We figured something out, or we figured out 500 things, okay? And here we are on the last few days of Kufri, and we're at 97% of our customer base is at N-2, right, or better. And this is incredible. And I want to say, like, we're not done, okay? We're not done making these updates easy. We're not done making them fast. We're not done making them cheap. We're going to keep improving this. We're going to get this to 100. And someday, this is not even going to be something we talk about or even remember, that it's just going to work and everybody's going to be current. And this is the magical thing, okay? This is the thing that enables me to say with confidence that all these cool features, all the generative AI and predictive analytics and the workflow automation, all this kind of stuff, we have a path now to ensure that it lands in your environments and you can take advantage of it. Like, this is the remarkable achievement. Okay, so that was my favorite chart. This is my favorite slide that I get to present once a year at Connections. This is a picture of every single customer logo in the Guidewire community. Thank you very much. It's pretty cool. I apologize to the cameraman, but I'm going over here. I'm not supposed to cross that X, but I'm doing it, right? Find your logo, and if you want, I want to apologize to United Security Insurance Company. We stuck you guys in that corner right there. If you're looking for United Security, there you are. This is pretty cool. I want to call out a couple statistics associated with this. First of all, I want to say we love you, InsuranceNow. 44 InsuranceNow Cloud customers up on that picture. We love the 160 international customers. I think it's something that's pretty special about Guidewire is our ability to run this system worldwide across almost maybe someday every country in the world. Every country in the world with a big insurance industry. How about that? 122 workers' comp customers, or customers who run workers' comp on our platform. This is something we don't talk enough about, but we've put a very, very specific focus on digging into what's going on in workers' comp and how we can inject more functionality into the products and the platform and the community and the marketplace to foster the workers' comp use cases. And I also want to talk about the 176 on-prem customers that are up here on this chart, okay? And that sort of underestimates kind of the overall picture, because we looked at it, we dug into it, and we think that there might be almost 400 unique instances of Guidewire on-prem running all over the world, you know, between Claims Center, Policy Center, and Billing Center. And I want to say very, very clearly, we are committed to 100% of our on-prem customers finding a way, finding the logic, finding the argument, working with us to successfully migrate to our cloud. This is the entire architecture of our service was designed around ensuring that there was a path to the future so that we did not abandon the install base and that we could create a system that facilitated this transition to our cloud. And we are committed to doing this. We'll continue to make the products more valuable. We'll continue to make them stronger. You know, we're not gonna stop working on that. We're also investing in making the migration faster, making the migration easier and cheaper and less risky. And I want to say my virtual door is open. I want to speak to anyone and everyone who has something to tell us about how we can better facilitate this transition. I want to hear from you. My executive team wants to hear from you. We are committed to ensuring that 100% of this customer base successfully makes this transition with us. And I want to just be crystal clear about that. And the reason we want to do it is because it works, okay? Because customers like San Cristobal, who migrated to Guidewire Cloud, are now able to issue large commercial policies in minutes instead of days, right? Customers like USAA, who have been an incredible partner for us in this cloud journey, ensuring that we created something that was going to work for every tier 1 insurance company in the world, created their first auto product on the platform on Policy Center in 10 months. Or customers like RSA UK, running Claims Center in the cloud. And my statistic here that I love, I'm kind of an efficiency guy, I like efficiency, is that they were able to create double-digit efficiency gains in their claims department. And if you think about that across the entire P&C industry, how impactful is that if we can create double-digit improvement in operating efficiency in claims? I mean, like, this is legitimately possible in this community and with this technology and with this platform, okay? We do all of this with the same platform as we did last year, okay? This has not dramatically changed, and that's the whole point. It's evolved quite significantly, and Diego's gonna talk to you about the new circle in our services lineup, you know, the new capability to add generative AI into this platform. This platform will continue to exist and evolve and support every single one of you. This platform works across a complete insurance lifecycle. I think we are genuinely unique in this industry in the idea that we have one platform, one approach that works across product development, product creation, around distribution, around policy administration, around claims, all supported by a common infrastructure, common data platform, so that we can create analytics and use the data to make this whole process work better and better and better every single cycle. And all of this is supported by the best ecosystem honestly, in enterprise software. It's probably not the biggest in enterprise software, but in terms of focus and dedication to customer success, I think you can legitimately say this is the best ecosystem in enterprise software. And you see it at Connections every year very, very clearly when you go down to the pavilion. Marketplace solutions, consulting partners, and thousands of developers that we are so excited to support. We will not do this alone. We will not be successful alone. It is all powered by this community and by this ecosystem. Okay, so you've heard enough from me. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to our Chief Product Development Officer, Diego Devalle, and he's going to talk to you more about our platform and our products and how we're evolving. Diego.
Thank you, Mike. Welcome. So, as you know, I'm a passionate skier, but my son kind of passed me a passion on basketball. So I want to make an analogy. Would you have trusted Kobe for the last shot? I guess everybody would have trusted Kobe for the last shot. And you will have trusted Kobe for the last shot because he had a Mamba mentality and he was a best-in-class athlete. So why trust in Guidewire? I think we do have a Mamba mentality. We never let down our customer. And we have the best-in-class platform. We have the best-in-class operation, the best-in-class platform, and the best-in-class application. And we've been building that across the last few years quite a bit. So this was what Mike calls his favorite chart. He already explained who is bad. So now let me kind of point it out exactly who is bad. Now, jokes apart, what is really exciting about this slide is that we have 7 discontinued releases. It is important to launch something new, but what we wanted to do with cloud was to make sure that all our customers were as close as innovation as possible, as close as the latest release as possible. 97% is a great number, but what is even more exciting is out of these 82 customers, as you can see, they're spread across only the last 5 releases. This is really, really exceptional. How did we achieve that? But first of all, we did run on the world's leading cloud provider. We picked a few years ago AWS because as our #1 partner in this evolution. Number 2, we did build a set of domain-specific service needed for the P&C. Things that were also needed for InsuranceSuite itself. We needed to have things like containerization, authentication, scalability. But those are not exactly the things that, that you can convey to customer to drive all this adoption. The adoption came because all customers wanted to have flexibility. They wanted to have security. They wanted to have observability. And most important, they wanted to have self-service embedded in the platform. So this is what we have been building today. Best-in-class platform available across multiple regions. You can see those numbers from 2023. We were managing 146,000 environments, and you look at the evolution across just 1 year, how those numbers jacked up, and is incredible. All of that is being part of this partnership with AWS. Last year, we normally have our event at Connection at the mid of November, and the week after, there is the event of AWS at re:Invent. We won an award at re:Invent as one of their best enterprise partner. And what I really like about this quote is that Guidewire, by building their platform for P&C vertical, now insurer can focus on their core business need. This is incredible. On top of our platform, we kind of coupled from the very beginning what we call a data platform. We wanted data as core element of IS Cloud. We wanted to store all live transactions, and we wanted to reduce the number of data transformation. Every time you transform your data, you lose something. But again, what is the business benefit of that? The business benefit is that single source of truth, accelerate time to insight, and being able to start to build a new class of business applications that are fully data-driven. Last year, we coupled that, and we talked a lot about modular application service to increase agility. And again, why did we want to increase agility? Because we wanted to accelerate product launch. We wanted to increase the level of automation that all of you can build on top of the solution. And we want to easily create an environment where you can create customized user experience. On top of all that, we have today the best and most trusted set of business applications. Policy Center, Claim Center, Billing Center, and Insurance Now, they all run on the same infrastructure. And across this year, what I'm the most proud is that we've been able to create an entire environment that enable extension. Core extension enable market-specific capability. Go product and integration reduce implementation time. Digital template enable user-specific user experience. And workflow, as I said, power automation. All of that today is getting better with Las Leñas. And we've been working for the last couple of years in building a totally new UX experience for all our users that I want to show you now. This is the new landing page that all our Las Leñas customer will have. As you can see, an operator will land here, and he will be able to control all things that an operator wants to control. In this case, we're going an example, we're launching Planet in this fictitious insurance that we're going to use today during the day even. Those are all the environment. And as you can see from here, you can monitor your application log. But this entry point for the operator is going to be the similar entry point for the developer. Now we are refreshing, we're logging with different credentials. This is the developer experience. As you can see, the widget will be slightly different, but the experience is the same. Now you can control all your development, the deployment. You can see that most of them went successful and one was failed in this example. But furthermore, you can, for example, we talked last year about the Jutro development platform. You launch your Jutro widget, and here you can see the agent experience application, and from here you can launch the agent experience application. You go back to the home page, and now you can have what we call the business user experience. As a business user, again, same landing page, all wrapped up into a consistent experience, couple of seconds to refresh, and now you'll see Policy Center, rating, advanced product designer. You launch directly to Policy Center, and again, usual experience, but now all the documentation also wrapped around here, right? So we are trying to give the best experience possible with Las Leñas. Very excited about all the advancement here. But Las Leñas is not only about a UX experience, but let me walk you through across all the different layers, all the new things that came up. On a platform service perspective, it's been a journey across the year. At the beginning, we were really building features that were missing. In the last year and a half, the conversation shifted from feature to give me more configurability option. I would like to be able to add my test quality gate. I would like to be able to have a self-service access management. So a combination of configurability and self-serviceness. And at time also adding a few things. So we've been adding more region. So the number of regions available worldwide are continuing to grow. For Mike, he had a favorite chart. This is by far my favorite slide. Thanks for the team to building that up. So now we have 13 regions worldwide. And within a region, we have things like auto failover in other zone. We have continuous backup. We have hourly cross-region snapshot to enable to rebuild your system in case of a catastrophic event. But what happened in case of a regional catastrophic event happen? A lot of the CIO have been asking us that question, especially with things that are happening in the world in recent time. We are working on that. So let me walk you through a scenario. Let's imagine that the West and East region, all customers are operating normally. Now let's move forward and imagine that one customer is enabled for what we call cross-region recovery. And now let's imagine a catastrophic event and an outage resulting in all the West region customer going down. The beauty of GWCP is that we're now working on a cross-region enabled customer restore and fully operational. This is kind of magic. And, the combination of how we've been achieving that, it took a lot of work and a lot of partnership with a lot of open source vendor, our engineering team. We have these things working in the lab. It's going to take a little bit of time to cascade this down across all our customer. As you can see, we're envisioning that across the next 3 releases, this will become available. And it's going to become available in 3 flavors. We call it Basic, Enhanced, and Premium. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are going to have questions, and the booth is going to be pretty hot. And we're going to follow up with this more detail on the few releases to come. Next, I want to talk about data platform. Data platform addresses the ensuring imperative to get more value from your data. The journey on data platform has been an interesting one across the years. With Banff, we enable operational reporting. We wanted to be able to capture all the live transaction and give you operational reporting on a millisecond almost. Then, with Flan, we expanded with Cloud Data Access with a standard set of connector for all of you that wants to kind of connect with existing other provider. With Elysium, we introduced Data Studio because we learned that there was a valuable capability to create own data set and leverage those data set for Explore in the first place, but also to connect different data sets for your third-party apps. In Kufri, recently this year, we made Data Studio natively integrated with Predict, powering all the predictive analytics available today. And with Las Leñas, with the release of Las Leñas, we're finally completing the last step, that is enabling the data platform to power policy-centered financial reporting. This is available in EA, launching in a couple of weeks, and later next year, early next year with Mammoth, we're going to expand that to Claim Center. I can say that today, the data platform helps you to unlock the full potential of your data business, and is super exciting to see the progress of how data platform, as I said, is complementing InsuranceSuite. Mike talked a little bit about the 7 services that we introduced last year with the goal to extend agility. We call them internally the 7 Samurai. And this year, we're introducing a new AI service, making from the 7 Samurai to what we call Elite 8, which out next year on the Sweet 16. But before talking about AI, I would like to talk a little bit about product. As you all know by now, APD revolutionized product launch. And what it revolutionized is not only the product launch, but it revolutionized the entire product lifecycle. Across the year, we got this consistent feedback. If you're building a net new product, APD is great. It goes from introduction, inception, to API generation, to digital, to product management. But if you have an existing product, you could not leverage the same benefit. With Las Leñas, we're introducing what we call product model conversion. And with product model conversion, we're now able to unlock the same benefit to all customers. This is transformational and really critical, and it was like part of the consistent feedback that we got from all our customers. I'm very excited about this, and I challenge you to go to the booth and see this in action. We have a couple of very interesting demos. On workflow, we made this analogy between workflow and autopilot, or more connected to word more than analogy. And we kind of wanted to convey that workflow and a new workflow engine was critical to enable autopilot. Autopilot power new level of process automation and efficiency. We're delivering a lot of new things with autopilot with this release, but mostly I want to point out the finger on 3 things: a new autopilot workflow console, more workflow template, and with this release, we're starting to venture into policy, and we're starting to have policy workflow in EA. But more than my word, I think that you should go and take a look of what partners have been doing with autopilot and how they use autopilot to deliver more value today. Again, check them at the pavilion. We have 3 very interesting demo solutions for parametric loss verification, for subrogation payment and recovery, and last for fraud investigation. Next, digital. Probably the most exciting things always. When I talk about digital, I'm always the most excited because it was one of those challenges a few years ago that a lot of people said, oh, you cannot build a native digital on top of IS, and we did. Last year, we launched the Jutro digital platform, and we consistently had customers really excited about the capability of building your experience, to run your experience, to deploy your experience. But also consistent feedback was, we need more content, we need more template to fast forward our implementation. And so today with Las Leñas, this is exactly what we've been doing. We're delivering more application template and closing the gap to the list of things that we wanted to do. But let's look at, in case you have requirement. Let's say in this example, there is a requirement that's not fully found a template today available. In this case, we're kind of imagine that we want to build a broker experience. And in this broker experience, we want to have a couple of things that are not fully available, as I said, in a wrapped-up template. And so the beauty of Jutro is that instead, you can now use the entire infrastructure to compose your experience. So if you look at what we have available as a template and what the requirements are, now you can use, if you want policy in inquiry, you can use the agent experience. If you want to use a personal auto quote, you can use quote and buy personal auto. If you're looking to combine this with the commercial auto quotation, you can use quote and buy for commercial auto. And last, if you want to brand all this, you can use the power of the design system for branding. And so let me show you a little bit how that looks like. So if you jump into, again, our landing page for Las Leñas, we go directly on the Jutro web app. And in this case, as I said, out of the box, we are delivering the agent experience. So in this case, we're building an application for the agent experience. And we create application. So this, in this case, is a template fully available. In few seconds, this will become ready to go. We don't want to wait here too much. So we're launching an experience that we already built. So this is the Jutro agent experience. It really takes like few minutes to build that on top of a line. And once you launch it, you will see that, let's go in launching it and opening up. You can see there are a few things that will not fit what we wanted to kind of represent in this fictitious broker experience. So you can see there are activity, and if you scroll down, there are bills and things that you don't want really to have on a broker experience. So we packaged all that, we give it to a developer, and we asked the developer to build us a broker experience and composing that experience with all the elements available. And this is what we made up in a week of work, or even less. So you can see that the scaffolding, it looks very similar, but once you open it up, this is being automatically changed. The developer is being working that to change it. Maybe in the future, we're going to automatically change that with Gen AI. But as you can see, again, it's a familiar look and feel, but it's kind of different. It's now a combination and a composition of different templates all in one. You can open, and from here, you can directly do a quote. And this is very similar to the quote and buy flow for personal and commercial. Most of you are familiar with that. We're picking the usual Ray Newton that is always used in our demo. And you can continue to do that, and you can trigger and initiate a quote flow. Again, what I think is unique with Jutro is you can now do experience composition, you can reuse building blocks, and you can use all that to differentiate the user experience. And so here we go, account info, and from here is the full flow that it will end up to create a quote. Next, we talked about Elite 8, and so we want to talk about a little bit about the new AI Connect service. We call it AI Connect because we wanted to simplify horizontally across our platform access to different models. Why do we want to do that? Because we believe that plugging a Gen AI Connect service into our platform is going to power intelligence. And intelligence will power, eventually, it will give us more efficiency, like agent efficiency, but effectiveness, adjuster effectiveness, submission efficiency, and what I really like, developer efficiency. So now let me show you what Las Leñas comes up on a point of view of developer efficiency. We call this Code Lift. So again, once again, from the home page, you're going to the favorite menu, and you will see one new thing that is called Integration Code Lift. This is transformational. Imagine that you want to build a net new integration, and now you can use Gen AI to do that. Here, the developer behind the stage, what he's doing is entering an English statement to say, hey, what is going to be the input of an API if I want to integrate with Shift? And what will be the output? And as you can see, that kind of show you the input, the output. And now what he's going to say is like, please generate an integration gateway application with Shift, claim fraud detection service, and Claim Center using the input as an output payload and data format as described above. This is insane. I find this incredible. All this code is automatically written. And as you can see, it was very simple to prompt this. There was an input, there was an output, and we say, go, build this application for me. All that is possible because on the Gen AI Connect, we have, of course, predefined all the set of most common endpoints that typically our customer use to it. And so at the end of that, you can inspect, or you can test against a stubby endpoint. We're going to do a test. Let's see if it passes. And once it passes, you can go back to code, inspect, or promote. Now, a lot of people always ask, how much do you trust AI? We trust AI as much as we trust our developers. And this gives you a scaffolding of an integration. Now, of course, you're going to be, each one of you, based on the level of trust, you can do more inspection, more validation, but eventually, we're going to get into a world where the way of developing is going to change completely. It's going to be completely different. Now, to wrap all this on the Elite 8, why did we introduce the Elite 8? Because we wanted to make our application more agile, more flexible, and ultimately deliver more business capability. So on an Insurance Suite perspective, from an Insurance Now perspective, we have been continuing to invest in Insurance Now. And all the learning that we put together from our Insurance Suite, we try to package it back on Insurance Now. Insurance Now fully run on GWCP. And as you can see here, there are a few things that cross-pollinated. For example, commercial product, now we have few Go product commercial that are also defined in the same APD format. We have expanded our OneInc integration to Insurance Now. And most important, all the learning on update that we put together in Insurance Suite, we now leverage those learning to make also Insurance Suite updating more efficiently. On the Insurance Suite perspective, there is a lot of things across Claim Center, Billing Center, and Policy Center. I would like to highlight from a Claim Center perspective what we call embedded data supervisor dashboard. For Billing Center, we have business rule override. And on Policy Center, we have a rating service integration. This has been a multi-year project, and it's super exciting to see come into fruition. So let me go back and show you this in action. From the home page, you go to Policy Center. Here directly, we have a line, is an auto line, and we're running a quote against the rating service. And you can see that you kind of quickly saw that the rate was 725. Okay, now let's go back on the home page. You click on rating. This is the rating workbench. And let's imagine that you want to change just one rate or one base premium. So in this case, you can see 725, we're changing to 810. We do update. We don't need to bounce IS anymore. We just redeploy simply the rate service. We go back on Policy Center. You requote, and you will see that is immediately available, and the quote now is 810. But a second ago, we show you Jutro. So exactly the same flow as before. Let's imagine that now the user that was in the process of quoting with digital will press quote, and a few seconds later, you will see that also in this scenario, you get 810. So rating service automatically available across all the channel. This took like a minute to give you a demo. It took a few years of incredible engineering, and we're very proud of where we are right now. Next, at my introduction, I talked a little bit about the new core extension framework. We always wanted to build on top of IS. We wanted to have this capability to have extension and treat those extensions in the same way as we're treating core. We have now enabled an extension building tool. We have a totally new way to do packaging and distribution, and we are making those upgrade safe. This is not only true for insurance, for Guidewire customers, for Guidewire developers, but it's going to be true also for all our ecosystem and all our partners. They're going to be able to build extension using this approach and this framework in a way that are going to be upgrade safe and forward compatible. So this year, with Las Leñas, we're launching Policy Center for London market on top of this new infrastructure. And I want to show you a couple of things of how this now is becoming very easy to install and very easy to run. So this, again, is the developer UI. If you scroll down, you will see that there are a couple of extension packages that are ready to be installed. It's going to be as easy as click install. This will trigger the package to be delivered to the CI/CD pipeline. And this is going to take around 45 to 1 hour. An hour later, when the business user will log, so now again, we're a switching user, is going to find a new widget, and in this case, Policy Center for London Market. You're launching it. It looks like, at the first glance, it looks like Policy Center, but this instead is London Market. As you can see, we have created a fictitious insurance for Messi as part of the Inter Milan Miami. I call it Milan because Inter is only Milan, so Inter Miami. And now if you go, you take a look and you go to the financial. On the financial, you will see that there is a premium that is booked in pound and is like 400 million pounds. So it's booked in pound, but it's settled in USD. And the settlement is going to be $13 million. So again, all this is now is an extension on top of the core. It can be easily deployed, and is forward compatible, and is going to be part of our upgrade strategy. So any customer running on London Market or running on any of the extension that we will build in this way will enjoy the same kind of upgrade safe boundary that we've introduced a few years ago with Snowcat. So this brings me to a sort of wrapper of, and a little bit of proudly show what we've been able to do in the last 12 release. We deliver around 1,200 new capabilities and 2,000 feature enhancement. With Las Leñas, we're jacking up the number quite a bit. And so we're realizing that it's becoming more and more challenging for customers to keep up. So that's why today we want to introduce one more thing that we call it Level Up Dashboard. And to show you how this works, I would like to invite on stage my colleague, a VP of Engineering, Platform Engineering, Ben Chang. Ben? Welcome, Ben. So again, let's open up directly and show you how this thing works. Again, same UI, same entry point. So for those of you that have been paying most attention, you saw an indicator on the right up corner that shows this 35 kind of indicator, what that is. So let's take a look. So if we go into, you open up this Level Up dashboard, why do we call it Level Up? Because we will want all our customers to constantly level up to the latest modernization possible, to the latest capability possible. In this case, you open up and you take a look at Policy Center. Your score is 3 out of 14. It means that there are 11 things that you could do, and those are organized by 4 tabs: integration, rating, line of business removal, and APD conversion. So starting with integration, Ben, what is this about? What is this button, transform and deploy?
So using the same technology that we use to build CodeLift, what we've done is we've examined your implementation and identified an integration that we can automatically convert from your standard InsuranceSuite implementation into an integration gateway app. So what we've done here is we've identified that there is an integration that uses event messaging, and we can now convert that automatically for you so that it uses app events. That means that when you decouple your integration from InsuranceSuite, you now independently lifecycle it, and you get much more better performance as well as a better lifecycle.
And the beauty here is you click the button, it's going to transform this into an IG apps automatically, again, using CodeLift behind the scene. And at the end of the process, as you can see, you have directly an integration with the IG apps dashboard. You will see the app that is going to be built, and it's going to have one button to continue to promote it into the life cycle. And we're doing this live on a live system, so I find it super incredible. You see there is a button to deploy, and from here you can move up. So if you go back to the Level Up dashboard, you will see that the number increased from 3 to 4. Nice. Next, rating. We just talked about rating a second ago. We said, hey, there is the new rating engine and all the benefit of the new rating engine. Last year at Connection, I was having a meeting, one of those meetings after the keynote with one of you guys, and the feedback was, we love what you're doing, but we spend a lot of money and investment on RTM. How can we adopt that? Here you go. We have done exactly the same thing. We're looking, the system is looking, again, with Gen AI across all your RTM, and once you click transform, what's happening here?
So now what we're doing is we're taking your RTM artifacts that exist inside your InsuranceSuite implementation, and we're converting them into cloud rating. Same types of benefits, so they're going to be faster, more performant, and you're going to have independently versionable rating artifacts. So this is going to be much better for your operational efficiency.
Again, the super exciting things, like we learned across the year that we don't want to push you things. We want you to pull. We want that once you're ready, when you feel ready, you can easily adopt the innovation and track the innovation in a sort of easy way. And so that is what the Level Up dashboard is for. And the intention is that you're going to see more and more things coming up into this dashboard. Next, if you look at the next tab, is line of business removal. Historically, with Guidewire, we've been delivering a lot of line of business as what we call it standard template. And so what we realized across the last few years was a lot of our customers didn't use this line of business, and those line of business takes time to build and takes time to deploy. Again, we've been expecting your code, and behind the scene, we worked into a process to clean it up. And so again, what's happening here, Ben, once you click accept?
So what we've done is we've detected the fact that you are no longer using these out-of-the-box lines of business, and what we're doing is we're creating a pull request for you that removes them. Now, what's great about this is now that you've removed these lines of business, you're going to see a build time improvement of 20% and a deployment time improvement of 25%. So this is going to result in much more developer productivity for you.
And this is super exciting, but also imagine you have this in your development environment, right? Don't think about directly in production. I'm not expecting any of you that you click that in production and so on. But development environment, you can click that, adopt, test it, validate, gain 25% on deploy time and on production, and on runtime, and move on. Last, I want to wrap all this with APD conversion. So again, this is what I presented before. You go on the Level Up dashboard. We inspect behind the scene. We inspect if your line was built with APD, and if it was not built with APD, we immediately enable this UI where if you click convert, you will convert your line into APD, and from that moment on, as I showed you in the slide before, you're going to convert your line, and you're going to benefit all the benefit from maintaining and supporting your product life cycle from an APD perspective. And you have successful use edition, base edition, and the conversion happened. I find this really magical. Some of that is powered by GenAI. Some of them is not. All of that is, as I say, encapsulated and made it easy for you to level up and to adopt more. Once you come back to the landing page, as you go back, you see that we're also working on Claim Center, Billing Center, and Content Manager. But in all honesty, on the other three X Center, only the integration capability is being exposed. All this Level Up dashboard is going to become available in EA, and we will want all of you to sort of request to be an EA adopter for this capability. We're super excited about this. And this brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you, Ben. So Las Leñas is launching on December 6th. We know that on December 6th, the 97% of how many customers will be N-2. We're going to be like under pressure, but we've been creating all kind of prediction, and we think we're going to be very close to 92%. So as said, the intention in the future is to get at 100%. And with that, I would like to introduce Christina Colby, Chief Customer Officer.
Thank you so much, Diego. It's fantastic to see everyone out here. I was really intrigued to be able to see all of that fantastic work that our product development teams and our engineering teams have been doing, building so diligently over the past year, and to be able to see it all together like that was really fantastic. So, Mike mentioned earlier that we have the best ecosystem in enterprise software, and I could not agree more. The Guidewire ecosystem enables your agility in action. It brings together a highly skilled developer community, experienced consulting partners, and innovative technology partners. Now, I think there may be some of you in the room Can we hear from the ecosystem folks in the room? Come on. I know there's a lot of folks in here. Excellent. Now, the most powerful way to be able to describe the impact of that ecosystem is to do that through your experiences. So let's start first with our developers. Whether you're working on, whether you're with a customer, whether you're with a partner, we know that developers consider working on Guidewire not a career stop, but a lifetime profession. Also, in Mike's comments, he talked about the fact that some of us have kind of wandered into the insurance industry. But I think that we can all agree that even whatever means it took us to be able to find our spot here, this is where we want to be. And we are so grateful for that passion and commitment. This is a huge community, and yet it continues to grow as well, which is remarkable. We have seen an incredible 368% increase in Guidewire developers since the launch of Aspen. Earlier this year, we had a DevHack virtual hackathon. There were more than 130 teams who submitted ideas and solutions. There were more than 5,000 votes who helped to select the winner. We actually have 2 of those that are now in production and available on Marketplace. And most important, the winning DevHack solution is viewable for all of you downstairs in the pavilion in our demo theater from an EY team. So we suggest please go downstairs when you have a moment to take a look at it. It's a really phenomenal solution. So as I mentioned, it really is about the ecosystem coming to life through all of your examples. So let's start in Japan. The market in Japan is highly, highly agent-based. And Sompo Direct went live earlier this year on ClaimCenter. Sompo Direct is pioneering in the Japanese market. One, because they are one of the few direct-to-consumer brands in this agent-driven market, and they were also our first Guidewire Cloud customer in Japan. Now, that might not feel like it's a huge deal to be the first in a region. Obviously, we've expanded to a number of new regions. That probably doesn't feel that unusual. But it can really, truly be challenging to be the first. So working with AWS, Capgemini, and all of our technology partners, everyone leaned in to launch Guidewire Cloud in Japan. And that made it a huge success for Sompo Direct. With Sompo Direct's growing business, they also expect to be prepared for claims volume to increase by 1.7%. Now that's sizable growth. And of course, one option is to be able to then grow the size of the claims handling team. But of course, that wouldn't actually be feasible. So what they were able to do with ClaimCenter is actually to keep the operational staff precisely as is, but they also were able to deliver a better customer service, which is just really fantastic. They also honed in on the fact that sometimes with the direct-to-consumer model, there can be fear that there is a higher likelihood of fraud. So developers integrated Shift, and Shift helped to improve the investigation, the identification, as well as rapid action associated with actually dealing with unusual claims activity. And so that improves Sompo Direct's fraud management capabilities considerably. Not only that, it actually helps to instill this deeper level of trust with a better claims experience for all of their customers. Developers also played a key role with Zurich Canada. Zurich Canada has a product manufacturing mindset. Now, I'm going to step back for a second because I think that there tends to be this worry that development means that there's going to be tons and tons of custom Gosu code. And that's going to be really difficult because it can be costly to maintain, it's difficult to move to the next version. But truly long gone are the days of that kind of dreaded customization. Developers can actually accomplish so much with things like application configuration tools, things like our cloud standards, as well as update tooling. So it has really changed the game in terms of development. Now let's go back and talk about Zurich Canada again. They worked with Cognizant and SmartCom, and they leveraged Advanced Product Designer. or APD, to expedite configuration of their commercial auto products. So they use APD to deliver this really dynamic model. And what they were basically doing is taking 300 different coverages, conditions, exclusions, risk objects, this whole big combination of things, and then starting to use these really intricate availability rules across all 13 Canadian provinces. And the purpose of doing this was to be able to deliver precisely what the insured was looking for. So as a result, that has now enabled them to be able to expand their reach in middle market segments with cost efficiency and pace. So it's great to see that in action. The examples that I shared also highlight the phenomenal contributions of our consulting partners. We have the largest system integrator, or SI, community in the P&C industry, with more than 25,000 trained consultants with presence in more than 60 countries. This year, consulting partners like Deloitte and Accenture added 20 different solutions onto the marketplace, things like parametric or marine covers, as well as very important regional content. And we expect that to actually double this year. This is also a community that is moving at speed. Many resources are getting certified within a few days of each cloud release. And in fact, we had more than 2,000 certifications that came within the first few days of CUFRI. The only way that that's possible is for individuals who have learned in depth all of the prior versions and are able to apply that knowledge to so clearly focus in on all of the new great features available within CUFRI. And most importantly, that pace ensures that you're able to adopt the new features and capabilities as rapidly as possible. That's like P&V in Belgium. P&V is committed to revolutionize the way their customers experience insurance. One of the key parts of their strategy is to go cloud first. It's a key part of their digital strategy. And so they did a recent upgrade of Insurance Suite from on-prem to cloud with the help of Hexaware. Now, this cloud-first strategy is absolutely working. They have been able to increase their satisfaction levels for customers, for employees, and for intermediaries. They also included CoreLogic and some of their solutions for their claims efficiency. And all in all, they have achieved nearly 80% straight-through processing, and even more in some segments. So of course, this deeply enhances their agent, broker, and customer relationships. They have also, most importantly, seen growth at 1.5 times that of their competitors. Marketplace is the source for incremental value to extend your Guidewire solutions. Marketplace incorporates more than 220 solution partners. That includes insurtechs, horizontal tech, both large and small, and allows you to access those and explore them with ease, actually covering 40 different categories of insurance use cases, ranging in everything from distribution experience and underwriting excellence, and also thinking about customer engagement and claims efficacy. In this past year, we welcomed more than 40 new solution partners. We're thrilled to have those new technology partners as part of our partner program. And we've also put a particular emphasis on solutions that are tailored really to meet both your geographic as well as your line of business needs. In fact, we have 93 of those partners who are focused with technology solutions available for EMEA and 90 available for our customers in APAC. And that list is rapidly growing. These pre-built, validated solutions demonstrate your agility in action. I wanted to actually share one of my favorite examples of plug and play. Now, I know that you're going to be skeptical when I say plug and play. Plug and play always feels like it is so much easier to say than do. But there was a phenomenal example through CopperPoint that I think is terrific to share. CopperPoint is a leading multi-state carrier specializing in workers' compensation. And so they have a clear focus on the importance of timely communication with injured workers. As they put it, the most important thing that they can do, the least that they can do, is to be able to offer the highest levels of service to injured workers. So PwC was integral in helping them to get live on Guidewire Cloud. And they also had acquired a book of business in Alaska. And they wanted to make a really rapid impact there. So they worked with Hi Marley and integrated it very, very lightly into the system. It required very little integration. There was only limited training that was actually rolled out, but the results have been absolutely tremendous. In just 4 months, 72% of their adjusters had adopted the solution, and the most impactful part is that the average response time had actually improved by nearly 50%. Now that to me is a terrific example of what plug and play should look and feel like. The results mean that they boosted their claimant satisfaction, they were able to improve retention, and the sentiment across both policyholders as well as injured workers grew considerably. Now, pulling all of this together, our ecosystem and the value of the ecosystem is underpinned by Guidewire Professional Services. We work on the ground in close collaboration with our consulting and our technology partners. And our goal is to have a small role on multiple concurrent projects. And in fact, we're working on 50 projects at once right now. So think about that. 50 projects at once really means that it's probably unlikely that we're going to see something for the first time. What we're able to do is to take that collective knowledge and the experience and bring that with every release to every project in real time. Moreover, that continues then to uplift the entire ecosystem. We continue to impart that experience and help that carry forward in everything that our consulting and technology partners do. And most importantly, that means that we are collectively able to deliver more and more value to you, our customers. So as described in all of these stories, we are so deeply grateful for your partnership. Whether you're a customer or a partner, you are truly an integral part of this community. And the things that we are able to do together, the opportunity that we have to continue to shape the P&C industry would not be the same without you. Thank you so very much. We can't wait to see what we all will continue to do together. And with that, let me hand it back to Mike to talk about some of the things to come.
Thank you. So I told you before we were going to have 2 sections to this keynote, trust and vision. Okay. So everything that you've seen previously kind of meets the bar that we used to set or have set up till now about, that's real code. That's real code that we've really run, we've really tested, we really have a pretty good idea about when it's going to be in production, when people are going to be able to use it. That's kind of the standard. But we decided this year to open the aperture, like I said before, to talk a little bit about where we think this is headed. And this next section kind of includes things that we are very confident are possible, and we're very confident that we will do these things. I would just say, we're not as sure exactly when they'll happen. I would say the one thing we're sure about is that they won't happen as fast as we want them to happen. So that's the context that I want to set for this section of the keynote. And I want to remind everybody kind of why we're doing this. We exist, our aspiration is to create a platform that makes the insurance industry more convenient, more effective, and more efficient. And sort of over the last 20 years, Guidewire, we've done all these things. We've created a system of record for the P&C insurance industry. We created application interfaces that are great. They sit on top of that system of record. They sit on top of that database. We create orchestration. We create automation systems. We create predictive intelligence and machine learning. We put it all together. We make this beautiful life cycle work perfectly. Everything's amazing. This is how great it is at all of our implementations. But there is this fundamental, call it weakness, you could call it a problem, call it limitation, of all of these systems in insurance, and I would say generally in enterprise software, and it is that they rely on clean, structured data for them to work, right? We need fields, we need forms, we need pages, we need everything sort of structured in exactly the right way in order for the business to run effectively. And we all kind of know that the world doesn't work that way. The real world, it's full of chaos. You know, it's phone calls, and it's emails, and it's demand letters, and it's pictures, and it's videos, and it's conversations, and it's just gobs and gobs of unstructured data. And the very elegant solution that we have for this issue is we have human beings. We have, as John Mullen likes to yell at me when I call them, we have users. You know, we have people who use our enterprise systems, and their job is to take all the chaos, take all the unstructured mess of real life, and turn it into the clean, structured data that we need to run our industry. But generative AI, large language models, one of the things that they do is they provide this lift. They provide this magical capability to give the human beings a head start, to augment what they can do in terms of parsing all this information, in terms of parsing all of that data and information and turning it into the structure that we need to make our organizations run more effectively, to create a better insurance industry, something that's more convenient, more effective, and more efficient. Okay, so that's the context that I want to set, the way that we are thinking about how we will harness this at a very high level. And to talk to you more about it and how it will be deployed specifically, I'd like to welcome Michael Howe, our Chief Product Officer, who will talk to you more about exactly how this will manifest in our applications. Michael?
Hit it.
Thank you. All right, thanks, Mike. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to talk to you this morning about how we will bring to life the vision that Mike just described. The potential of Gen AI, paired with human expertise, provides us with an almost limitless range of new possibilities. Here at Guidewire, we've been focused on exploring the many ways that Gen AI can be applied to solving the business challenges of insurance. And it is not limited to any particular aspect of insurance. In fact, the potential extends across the entirety of your business operations. Over the past year or so, we've worked with our community of customers and partners. We have identified literally hundreds of insurance-specific use cases, each with the potential to impact some aspect of how our industry works. For example, there are use cases that can improve how you conceive and roll out new insurance products. There is also exciting potential to rethink the many ways to improve distribution, whether direct or via your broker network. The use cases extend to underwriting, where Gen AI can synthesize large volumes of unstructured information and give underwriters and your users new superpowers to augment their experience and judgment. And of course, we see huge potential to rethink both policy management and the processes and information available to help you better manage your claims. The point is that while Gen AI itself is compelling and certainly rapidly evolving, the benefit of that advancement is ultimately about helping you find the ways to leverage it in your business to drive insurance-based outcomes. You should be able to draw a direct line to its impact on the business metrics that you aim to achieve. So, today, we'd like to bring that idea to life for you. Over the past year, we've worked through all of those use cases. We've studied and experimented and learned about the capabilities of Gen AI, and we've prioritized the areas that hold the most promise to drive real and impactful change for how insurance professionals work. To demonstrate this immense potential, we'd like to take you through two insurance use cases where we are making R&D investments to bring Gen AI to bear in our products. The first is going to be focused on underwriting, and the second will focus on claims. So let's start with underwriting. More specifically, let's explore an example focused on commercial lines. As many of you know, there are many challenges associated with writing commercial lines. The process of quoting is often complex and time-consuming. The sheer volume of submissions can be overwhelming. The time and effort to process each submission and determine risk appetite often requires a tremendous amount of manual processing, which is both error-prone and time-consuming. Of course, what you ultimately want is a better way to process all of those submissions and provide your underwriters with the tools and information that they need to make decisions and quickly return a quote back to the broker. To address this very common pain point, we are building out a new product capability called the Underwriting Assistant. This new offering employs large language models to help you ingest and triage all of those unstructured submissions and augment with additional pre-clearance and risk appetite information to help those underwriters prioritize and focus on selecting the right risks. And by being able to return a quote more quickly to the broker, you'll be in a better position to improve the quote-to-bind ratio and the quotes that ultimately get bound. So, better risk selection based on appetite, a faster time to quote, and more efficient submission triage all contribute to an improved expense ratio. So, let's have a look at it. To do so, I'd like to introduce and welcome to the stage Amy Mullen, our Vice President of Applications and Product Strategy. Welcome, Amy.
All right, thank you, Michael. So we're going to start with underwriting, and we're going to start with taking all of the unstructured information that comes in all of those submission emails, including the text of the email and attachments like applications and loss runs. We're going to take these, we're going to send them to the new underwriting service. So we're going to send them to the underwriting assistant. And what's happening now is that the underwriting assistant took all of that unstructured information, understood it, parsed it, created structured data that then we were able to present to the underwriter in a summarized form. And what you can see here is not only is this a list of submissions, but we're highlighting which are most desirable for that particular business. You can see the 3 here are all within the appetite, and they all have high tiering scores. Now that tiering score can be an analytic that's based on any number of factors that's particular to the line of business and what kinds of risks that insurer wants to bring in. As we click into one of those submissions, what you see here is the additional information that was gleaned from those submission emails and the attachments. So we have things like a premium estimate. That can be some predictive insight that we know that we can generate based on information that was in that submission, as well as a short summary of the submission and what kinds of risk, as well as some additional intelligence and information about similar risks that may have come in recently. When the underwriter decides to take action on that particular submission, they can click in, and again, they're given basic information about and summary information about the submission on the top, and then they're also provided a more complete summary, including things like the description of the risk, an analysis of the exposure, financial analysis if it's available, and we can also do things like calculate business interruption analysis. Now, once the underwriter sees that and they're ready to send an indication back to the broker, the system will generate a draft of that indication email for the underwriter to edit until they're ready to send it. They can simply click send and the email is sent. Now they can continue to process submissions, or they can look at their book of business in total, in aggregate. So this is a dashboard that gives the underwriter a picture not only of where they are today with information like information on their portfolio, like the breakdown of premium by LOB and state, but also can give them indication of the direction of their portfolio based on what's in their backlog. Because now that we've taken the unstructured submission information and made it structured, we can do these kinds of calculations and look where things are going. That might include a trend on direct written premium that's predictive based on previous bind ratios, or something like the quote to bind ratio. So with this, underwriters can look at more submissions more quickly and make more accurate decisions.
All right, thanks, Amy. What's so cool about that demo is that the power happens behind the scenes. The Gen AI taking all of that unstructured information, creating those summaries, generating those insights in context for the user, and ultimately guiding them to the next best activities around selecting risks and getting those quotes bound. Super powerful. Okay, so that was underwriting. Let's transition now to our second example, which is focused on claims. We often talk with our customers about driving efficiency to help get claims resolved faster, and that's for good reason. Inefficient claims handling can lead to claims leakage, which drives up expenses and negatively impacts customer satisfaction. So as such, we've been exploring the potential for Gen AI to help claims adjusters. The insurance objective is to reduce the time that a claim spends awaiting the next action. These waiting periods not only lengthen the overall time to process the claim, but they also create anxiety for the insured during the process. So we sought out ways to fundamentally reimagine the way an adjuster can work in order to remove as much manual information processing as possible and provide summarization and guidance on the best next steps. The idea is to help the adjuster know where to spend their time and make decisions faster and more accurately. The result? Faster, improved claims outcomes for you and a better customer experience for the insured. Again, let's see it in action. Amy, take it away.
All right. So where we're going to start with claims is a task list. But this task list has been optimized to reduce the wait time in claims. What does that mean? That really means two things. These tasks are organized based on which claims are waiting for an adjuster to take action. Since more and more of claims processing is automated, that could mean there was an exception in the processing, or it can mean that there was a manual step that was needed as part of that claims handling. We also provide the claims handler some estimate of how much time it's going to take so that they can be more efficient in organizing their work throughout the day. So as I click into this claim, the first thing they're presented with is a claim summary. This is an AI-generated claim summary that brings together all of the unstructured information in a claim, like notes and like additional documents that are attached to the claim, along with all the structured information that might be in that claim. Again, very important to orient the adjuster when a claim may be either partially or almost completely automatically processed. We also provide claims intel. These are predictive insights that give the claims adjuster a heads up to key information or things they need to know about the claim or take action on. In this case, what the adjuster is being alerted to is a risk of this being a high loss. Now, in this case, the system is already running the coverage check. When the coverage check comes back, it provides some information to the adjuster saying, yeah, we think it's covered, but they need an inspection. The adjuster then says, well, actually, I'd like to see more information. I'd like to understand where that came from in the policy, so we can show them where it came from in the policy, and then the adjuster can decide what to do next. Based on the unstructured to structured data transformation and the predictive insights, we've suggested that they schedule a field inspection, but in this case, the adjuster is going to say, actually, I want to call the insured first. Now the system will actually step them through that, including giving hints on specific questions and information that they should gather in that phone call. And once the call has ended, the system will understand what additional information they got and step them through the follow-ups from the phone call. Most importantly in this case is this emergency roof repair. We want to make sure that we mitigate any damage or ongoing loss. It will also update the loss details in the claim based on what happened in the phone call. It will request that they schedule the field inspection, and then it will also produce a claims note that provides a summary of what happened in the phone call. Now that they've saved that as a note, they don't have any more outstanding tasks on this claim. and they can move on to see what's next. Now, all of this is a very different way to provide a guided interface to claims adjusters. So one of the first things we're working on is embedding both the predictive insights from Claims Intel as well as the claims summarization directly into ClaimCenter. Because everything we're doing here is based on the trusted system of record of ClaimCenter. Michael?
Thanks, Amy. So again, what did we see? Huge amounts of unstructured information immediately processed into structured. All of those insights, summarizations, and analytics then guide the user on their next step. So for in this case, the claims adjuster, that's a completely different experience for them to get done what they need to do. Okay, so let's recap and go back to where we began. In both of these cases, underwriting and claims, you can begin to see the immense potential of how GenAI can power what insurance professionals, each of you in this room, do every single day. We look forward to bringing these innovations and many more to you in the days and weeks and years to come. Thank you. Now I'd like to hand it back to Mike.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Michael. Days and weeks and months, right? So, scale of 1 to 10, Amy, how excited are you about this?
9.5.
Why that missing 0.5?
I want to see it get into the hands of actual customers and be used by our customers. That would make it a 10.
Okay, super. Okay, super. We can't wait. And I just wanted to highlight for you one specific thing about that demo, which kind of Amy showed, but I really want to highlight this, is that ClaimCenter demo is all running on ClaimCenter. It's not a completely different system. Investments that you make in ClaimCenter, investments that you make in the modern systems of record, these core systems, are going to pay dividends with these layers on top, okay? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. All right, now we're going to do something. Now we're going to do something that is a bit of a risk, okay? I want to set the context a little bit. Show's almost over, don't worry, but we wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. It's all on me. The risk is all mine. I'm taking this all on my own shoulders. So a couple weeks ago, OpenAI came out with this new API, real-time API. It's kind of cool. Maybe some of you seen it, heard of it. Anyway, I sent my team a note. I said, hey, somebody needs to see if we can use this thing. Maybe we could put a voice interface on top of Guidewire. What would that look like? And then I accidentally sent it to the wrong person, our super genius over here, Dimitri, who makes a lot of our demos. And 24 hours later, he sent me back a link, and he's like, it's finished. So yeah, go show it to us, guys. Show it to us. He's like, I finished it. We have a voice interface now on top of Guidewire. Hold on one second. I think we can do it. We got to pipe in the Dimitri's laptop. Okay, good. Now, I'm actually going to do a voice-based demo on top of Guidewire, which you guys have probably seen tech companies do hundreds and hundreds of times. And they're often very scripted. You know, we're very careful about what we say. You know, we're like, say that word, and then it all works, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask for a volunteer from the audience to come up on stage with me. Who has ever dreamed about presenting in front of 10,000 people? Please raise your hand. Seriously, who wants to raise their hand? Seriously, no one? We got one. Okay, who do we got? Please, come up here, introduce yourself. Okay, great. This is like a magic show. I've never done a magic show. Hi, Mike Rosenbaum. And
Andrea McKinney.
Is this scripted? Did I plant you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you're handling this well. It's great. Okay, great. Here we go. Here we go, Andrea. So the context is you have a policy with Haven Insurance, homeowners policy.
We're workers' compensation.
You can go with homeowners, okay, but you have home.
I own a home.
Okay, so what I want you to do right now is just invent an issue that you might have had at your house that you might need to make a claim for.
There was a hurricane.
Oh, what happened to your house?
No, that didn't really happen. I'm making it up.
But like, what kind of damage did you have?
There was damage to my roof, and there was some flooding.
Damage to the roof and flooding from a hurricane. When did the hurricane occur?
A week ago.
A week ago. Okay. Now, wish me luck. All right, let's start the conversation.
Hello. It's a pleasure to connect with you. I'm Tina from Haben Insurance Company. How can I assist you today? I understand
have
that
a
dealing
problem.
with insurance matters.
We have a
Hello.
problem. We had a hurricane at my house, and there's a tremendous amount of damage to my roof.
I'm so sorry to hear about the damage to your home. Experiencing a hurricane can be incredibly tough, and I want to assure you that I'm here to help make the claims process as smooth as possible for you. Could I kindly ask for your first name, last name, and the first 2 digits of your insurance policy number?
Sure.
To help verify your...
My name is Mike Rosenbaum, 89.
Thank you, Mike. Let me verify your information to ensure we can proceed with your claim. Could you please confirm your last name spelled as Rosenbaum? And
That's
the first
correct.
2 digits. Thank you, Mike. I've successfully verified your account. Let's proceed with your claim for the hurricane damage to your roof. Could you please provide me with the date when the incident occurred? Additionally,
The date
a
was
brief
the
description.
date occurred last week.
Thank you for clarifying, Mike. So, if the hurricane happened last week, can you confirm that the incident date was around November 11th?
That's exactly
Also-
right.
Thank you, Mike. Let's proceed with submitting your claim. Just to confirm, the type of claim is related to hurricane damage. Could you please provide a brief description of the incident so I can include it in your claim?
Yeah, we had a hurricane, and it damaged my roof.
Your claim has been successfully submitted. The claim number
We have a
is
little prize for you. You can turn it off, Dimitri.
00052.
We have a little prize for you downstairs. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. That was awesome. Guys, the whole rest of the week is going to be great. I have no idea. Like, it is 0 times that worked until right there on game day. So that was amazing. So, Dimitri.
Yeah.
Tell us about creating that application.
It was actually pretty easy and fast. I would say even faster when my coffee disappears on Monday morning, especially today. So we have spent maybe 1 day on getting accustomed with new APIs, with new technology, creating the Skeleton app. And the second day, we had just connected to the real insurance suite APIs. And it was breeze because we have all the cloud APIs, all the SDK available for us. And what is even more important, it was working from the beginning very good, scarily good.
Scary good. So look, I want to just say this is not exactly a product we're shipping, right? We put this together because what we wanted to show you was an example of what this technology can do paired with a system like Guidewire, paired with cloud APIs, paired with a system that's ready to receive claims, validate policies, check conditions, and you put these 2 things together, and I think that we are about to enter a world that's pretty exciting and is going to start to change pretty fast. So thank you very much, Dimitri.
One more thing.
Okay, yeah,
One
go
more
ahead,
thing.
go ahead.
I'm stealing the phrase from Diego. We have Tina available also at our GenAI booth. So if you want to give it a try, and actually she speaks multiple languages, so we can test it out.
Yeah, you got to come by the pavilion and we'll show you this. We have it running in the pavilion. We could show it to anybody. We could show you how we built it, what it does, how it works. Okay, last little section of this presentation is we are going to talk to you. We're going to give you a little bit of homework to do before the day 2 keynote that we'll do tomorrow morning. And to talk about that, we have Aubrey Kipp, who's going to wrap things up. Aubrey?
All right. Greetings, family. Y'all look amazing this morning. So let me get straight to it. I need your help, right? Give a great big shout if you were at Connections last year. If you remember last year, we broke through a barrier and we started up this insurance company, Haven. We've been talking about it all day today. And we broke through a barrier in speed and agility. We powered Haven with an end-to-end digital application in about 24 hours. We want to raise that to the next level today. We want to put that application of Haven in your hands. And we want to do something we haven't done before. We want to show you how you can run your insurance company with agility on Guidewire from day one. This means we're going to be able to get operational insight. These are the operational ports Diego spoke of. We're going to be able to get intelligence about our data as a community from day one. We're going to show you financial reporting, which used to take a super long time, how we can now crunch that and deliver it into your hands from day one. And then we're going to do something cool with embedded analytics. So here's what I want you to do. We want to run this business, and we want to do it from day one, but we need to do something with your help. We need about 3,000 policies bound. We need about 3,000 claims filed in about the next 3 minutes. Can I get your help? Can I get your help? All right, so let's do it. I want you to pull out your phones and scan this code. This is going to be super easy. We built this same app from last year. We want you to drive it. And then what we're going to do is have you bind a policy. Once you bind that policy, we've made it real easy for you. We've randomized the name and randomized the address. You can put in your own name if you want. You can put in your own address if you want. We also put in an integration, the Hazard Hub. Some of you will start to get some kind of background scenes on what your property might be scoring. But in the end, I want you to file this policy, and then I want you to add it to your wallet. Whether you got an iPhone or Android, add this to your wallet, right? And then I'm going to grab somebody random in the morning, and we want to make sure you did your homework, you got this wallet, because we're going to use that to show something really cool tomorrow. So you're going to file a claim after you have bound your policy. You can file a claim directly from the app, or you can file the claim from your wallet. Both ways will get us a whole community full of data. And in the morning, from day one on Guidewire Cloud, we'll show you how you can get full analytical insight, intelligence in your business. Does that sound great? All right, I see y'all are doing the work. If you have any questions at all, if you need help filing the app, this app and the QR code is going to be at the booth, and you can fill this app out, bind your policy all throughout the day. We want to get this data ready so we can show it to you tomorrow. All right? All right, beautiful. Mike, I'm going to bring you back up. Let's have a good time.
It's great. Can't wait to see what you do. Okay, guys, that wraps things up. I want to say thank you very much for paying attention during this keynote. I also want to say thank you very much to our sponsors who are all located in the pavilion. We couldn't put on the show without you, and I would encourage everybody that's here this week, go take a look. Go have some fun in the pavilion. We got a bowling alley there. I think we got a golf course there. We got a whole bunch of fun things that you can do. I want everybody to have a great week. Enjoy Nashville. We'll see you back here at 11. Thank you very much.